This is the world of sex, where we talk about everything they say you can't. It's time to put the kids to bed and listen to every word that's said. So get your glass of wine and let's talk about sex.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's performance is about to begin.
Welcome to the World of Sex podcast with Dr. Kaci. And today our guest is Vini. Hey, Vini, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey there, Dr. Kaci. How are you? I'm so glad to be here with you. Well, I am just a normal girl, Latina girl, willing to have a nice conversation with you today.
So when you saw the post, what intrigued you about wanting to talk about the world of sex?
Well, I think many people have like this subject, like a taboo subject, but I really think that it connects people and we should talk about it, like, because we all are going to have it someday, right?
Right.
So as long as we talk about it, it's easier to break like those taboos or find confidence in ourselves. So I saw the post and I was like, is this real? Like, seriously? Like, but here I am.
So is it, are you not used to seeing where people want to talk about sex? Is that why you didn't think it was real? Because it is kind of an odd subject for most, because it is very taboo and people are afraid to discuss those things.
Yeah, people are afraid to discuss those things, and also because like maybe privacy things, like like where is this conversation going? Who's gonna listen to it? But at the end of the day, it's a really important subject, you know, like
right.
I might have some insecurities, but some other people too. And as long as we talk about it, we can like get to a point, or like, you know, like to have some relief of, oh, that's fine. I mean, you know.
You know, that is one of the reasons why I became a sex coach, is because it's a lot of barriers, and a lot of people think that they are in their particular situations alone, especially when you talk about, I had got divorced and, you know, was going through the motions of healing. And I'm like, I know it's other married people that have gone through what I went through or is still going through it. And a lot of times it's just the inability to have somebody to relate to, and then being able to have the conversation so that you can, like you said, find the security, but also be able to get the satisfaction that you need in the bedroom as well as every other area in your marriage. So,
Yeah.
when did you start having sex?
Not that long, actually. I was like a really older people. No, I mean, I was old. It was like when I was like 24 years old, because of this same things that we're talking about. I was insecure and I didn't know how, and I have like all these taboos, like when, why, where, with whom. So it was like, no, until I am really like in my safe place, you know, and with my safe partner.
So has that changed? Because you're, with the air quotes, you're making me feel like that it may have changed and developed a little bit.
No. I mean, actually, I see sex relationships like a tattoo. I don't know. I mean, I can see you have some tattoos, and they say, no, like once you get your first tattoo, you want to have more and more and more.
It's hard
It is the
to
same.
just get
It's the
one.
same, you know. It's the same, but it is also like I mean, it hasn't changed. I still need to have like my safe partner or my safe people, my safe place. It's not, those are like some taboos, and that's why I contact you, because it was like, is am I oh, like, you know, am I right to be waiting for the right place or the right time? Because I see some other people my age, and I like yeah, I'm going to, you know, like, I don't know
Be
how
as
to
graphic as you would like to be.
Yeah. Like I'm going with this dude and this the
Mm-hmm.
other dude to
Mm-hmm.
his place or my place, and I'm like, no, I can't, like I need to have my privacy or my specific date
Mm-hmm.
to have
Mm-hmm.
sex. And so it's like, yeah, it's a
Okay,
really
so I'm gonna
interesting
be honest
conversation.
with you. When I was younger, I probably was a little bit more free, but I've always, because I came up around my guy cousins and I had kind of strong influential males in my life that guided me away from being really loose with sex. So I didn't start when everybody else did, and I wasn't having sex as often or as freely. But I was a little bit more like, okay, it was easier for me to like a guy then. But I had
Mm.
to actually like you to get close enough to you for you to even get the chance. And then, but as I've gotten older and I've been celibate for about 7 years now. And I come to a place of what you just described where now it's like, man, I don't want to waste it now. So it got to be somebody that I actually like. It has to be in the right type of environment, so to speak. Like I got to meet you at the right place. You got to say the right things. It's a lot more to it now than when I was younger, and I was just using that because I used to use sex as a healing mechanism because I felt, in that embracing time, you feel all of those things that you're not allowed to feel when you have to be strong all the time. So I used to do it because it felt good. It was like, a stress reliever. And in real
Yeah,
life, it really is. So, but now that I've healed the areas that was hurting then, my desire is a little bit it changed the chemistry of how
yeah,
I am attracted to somebody, and like the things, when you're young, a guy could say just about anything and you're like, oh, and
yeah.
now it's like, no, keep going, please and thank
Yeah.
you. And it just
Yeah.
changes as you get older.
Yeah, and I don't know if you realize of this, but lately, like these energetic things with other people, like this subject like of energy, like other people has energy too.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
like you have to connect and be
Yes.
like like emotional, not just like physically. So
Because the
so
energy
that's
portion it's becoming more prevalent now
yeah,
where you're realizing what's going on. So you know that if you're connecting with someone sexually, then you magnetize the energy that you both feel, either whether it's good or bad, whether it's,
yeah,
imbalance or stability. But it does become like it swells up within you and it grows the energy. I have been talking more and more about energy recently, probably within the last couple of weeks. But when I started out, I actually built on all of the energy, like all of the principles of life. And then it was like, okay, now let's just ride it out and kind of create and critique based on what people need versus everything I know. I used to just put out so much information. It was good because people knew that I was knowledgeable and I'm not just saying stuff, like I'm actually looking it up. I can show you what I looked up and here's the information. So that was
yeah.
always good. So what has been the most surprising thing when it comes to sex for you?
Surprising things is that as long as I get to know myself more, I
Mhm.
can be more selective with the people I am,
Mhm.
like, and that's surprisingly because, as I told you before, I like somebody,
Mhm.
but my mind says, yeah, go fuck with him or something.
Mhm. Mhm.
But as long as I know myself, it's like, no, I don't like his values or I don't like
Mhm.
his
Mhm.
lifestyle. So it's like, what is going on, And it's surprisingly because my body says something and my mind says something else. So it's crazy.
So do you ever cut off your mind and let your body enjoy itself?
No, I haven't. I haven't got to that place where I only feel or listen to my body and like freely experiment. I'm always with my mind with, no, we shouldn't be doing this. No, he's not the right guy. No, just like it's crazy.
It's those qualities are both good and bad. It's good because it is saving you from hurt, attachment, some issues of pain or trauma that could be related to getting involved with somebody, because your vagina might be really good and that person might not want to go away when you want them to go away. So you really never know what is saving you from. And that is what has kept me okay with being celibate in this time. Like, a lot of times people think that if you're not having sex, you can't get sex. And it's like, no, sex is easy to get. Like, all you gotta do is put on some tight jeans and somebody's gonna come along those streets and be trying to see what they, what's going on. And so, but it's crazy because, like I said, when you're younger, you are allured by the cat calling and all of the hey babies. And the other day, I literally, some guy was like, hey, like you could have rolled around, excuse me, how you doing, something like that, but not you around the corner talking about hey, like, no, I'm not turning around, I'm not, like. So it changes everything. So here's a juicy one. What is one of your wildest fantasies?
It's crazy because, like, between us and all the people that is listening and watching, I loved, like, with a group of friends, of course, the one I select, I would love to be part of a gang bang.
A gangbang?
What it's called. Yeah, but it's
okay.
It's crazy because
okay, so orgy, like where everybody's sleeping around, or like an actual gangbang where it's you and your guys and
me and my guys. So so that's crazy because I know I want to do it, but it's like my mind always like, who are they going to get along? Like it's crazy, but I know in my mind I'm gonna do it someday.
So what about that is alluring to
you? Maybe the fact that I haven't had sex like in many years. Yeah, and sometimes I feel like I'm losing the best years to have it. So there I will be like, it's time
to catch you up. And so what is your favorite position? Are you heterosexual? What's your sexuality?
I'm here it's the crazy thing. I haven't had much sex, and I've always had like the typical like missionary. And with my ex-boyfriend I was like, oh, cute, and yeah, this is how it's sex. And then I broke up with him, and that's when I started learning like, what do I like, what are my fantasies. So I don't have like
a favorite position.
My favorite, because I've already tried it, because it's just my favorite because I want to try it, Right. And it may be cowgirl, reverse cowgirl.
Okay, reverse cowgirl. You be spinning around, or you have to get up and turn around? Which one you be doing? You just spin around on and move your feet like one leg at a time and turn around. That's my favorite. Okay, so are you what do you identify sexually?
Heterosexual.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kaci, Dr. Kaci. Welcome to Speaking Freedom. We are happy to have you, and we hope that we're able to help you in every way possible. Have a good evening.
Okay, so what have you learned from your sexual encounters? Like, what have you learned about sex? And just how has it impacted your life in general?
I struggle with it because I learned that this energetic part that we were talking about earlier, it is real, because I've only been with two guys,
Mhm.
And both of them were like sad or kind of depressed. And then after that, I got like a really bad depression. So it was like I
And
can't.
you related directly
Yeah,
to those
yeah,
experiences?
yeah. I mean, it was also the pandemic,
Right,
so
right,
it,
right,
yeah,
right, right.
but yeah, from that on, I learned that the person that I'm going to be with, it
Mhm.
has to be like in a peace, um yeah, in peace with themselves and be happy and to
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
goals, because I want to be, I don't know what you think about, but to be with a person that I can relate in more than a physical level.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely, that's like a must for me.
So you've only been with two guys. However, you said you were heterosexual. So your sexual preference is guys. But
Yeah.
what type of relationship dynamic would you prefer? I know we talked about gang banging. So would you be comfortable like in a poly relationship? Like what is your ideal relationship style?
Mm, in the past, I've been in a monogamous relationship,
Hmm.
but uh, through all the time, I've seen that many people have like jealous, and if they cheat on the other person, it's like, no, we have to break up. So I'm really starting to think about an open relationship.
Hmm.
I don't know if polyamorous, but maybe an open relationship where we have like emotional connection.
Hmm.
And if they want, they think somebody else is attractive, well, they can go and sleep with them. But yeah, but emotionally and of course physically attraction.
What makes you lean towards an open relationship? Like personally, what makes you think, okay, now this may work better?
I think to experiment by myself,
Hmm.
if like to avoid this cheating part, because some relationships end because somebody cheated on somebody else. So if we skip that limitation, maybe we can go far, and instead of breaking up because of one thing, to be a, like to be a team, because some other things, not just like that.
Right. And I totally understand. It's definitely something to think about. Not just because you don't want somebody to cheat on you, but because that may be more suiting for the both of you, because then you don't feel stifled in a
Yeah.
relationship. You're always able to grow within the relationship, but also with the people outside of the relationship.
Yeah, I see it this way. In school, you don't get the same classes from the same teacher, English,
Mhm.
Spanish, mathematics, or story, or that, everything. As long as you are growing up and you are in college or university, or like even you grow, you have different teachers. So i
Right.
think i think people, it's the same, as
Hmm.
you can get everything from one person, or so they can learn other things and I can learn other things, and then we both bring it up to our
Together.
relationship.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
So, have you ever been to a swingers party or sex clubs?
Never. I'm curious about it, but my last two partners were like, we were kids, like, well, kids, 24 years
Right.
old kid.
So, is
But
that something that you're open to? Like,
yeah,
what are your limitations when it comes to your open-mindedness as far as relationships, dating? Would you be with more than one woman? Would you be willing to invite women into your room? Like, what does that look like for you?
I don't think I will, accept another woman in my relationship.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm willing to find a guy with the one I can be like super open-minded and try
Hmm.
new things. And as long as one of us says, no, this I can I can't be part of this, well, then we move to another, like try new things. But somebody who is willing also to at least try, or at least get closer to these new experiences.
Right, because I definitely believe that the more you trust the person that you're with, the more willing you are and the more vulnerable you are when it comes to trying new things and allowing them to kind of guide you through the process of trying stuff. Because it's almost like if you go on a binge, on any type of a binge, you normally need somebody there to make sure that you don't go overboard or
Yeah.
off the change. It's somebody that keeps you kind of monitored. So I think that even in the bedroom, I know for myself, when I think about any type of sexual fantasies or anything that I have not done, there are a lot of things that I haven't done that it's like, okay, but when I get married again or when I get another husband, there are some things now that in my first marriage I would have never thought about doing, that I'm like, wait a minute, but if I find the right person now,
Yeah.
I'm willing to try a whole lot more
Yeah.
things, especially if it's somebody that I can really trust with my whole heart and just know that they would never lead me in a way that is beneficial to them but will hurt me. And
Yeah.
that is the real trick to it.
Yeah, and also somebody who doesn't judge you, like, oh, why are you trying to experiment that? Or no, you're open-minded. Like, God knows what else you did before I was in your life.
Right,
Like,
right, right, right.
like, bro, chill.
Right. So, do you watch porn?
Not really, because I'm I don't want to get myself like that much expectations
Hmm.
of sex. So I think I and also because I am a creative person, and in my mind there are so many stories, so I don't need that.
Okay, so let's start here.
Yeah,
If
but
you're going to watch porn, it's best to watch it on Twitter because it's more amateurs. It's not like scripted.
yeah,
But I totally understand, especially because you haven't been with a lot of people, it can really shape your mind in such a way to where your expectations would be so much higher than the reality. And those who have had more sex know that some of those things aren't really real. But if you're on Twitter and you're watching porn, those things are capable of being done.
those
Those are
are
like,
things that
yeah,
are
yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are more real than you will see on some of your actual websites. But that is my place to watch if I am going to watch, because it's a more authentic experience.
Yeah, thank you very much. And also, I'm one of another fantasy is to watch porn with my partner, with
Mm-hmm,
my
mm-hmm.
boyfriend, and to try those. Well, not try, because porn stars do a lot of things, and not everything is real, but like to have that experience, like both
Mm-hmm.
of us.
I definitely always suggest that for married couples, especially because when you are exposed to a lot of people that are in religion, they have a lot of um just a lot of things that keep them bound. And sometimes they think that, well, the man is only watching porn. And I'm like, no, you can watch it together so that
Yeah,
it's educational and it is an entertainment experience that nobody has to sneak off and do, that you guys can enjoy together. And that's a different level of vulnerability because now you're showing what arouses you. You're showing so many different aspects of you by just viewing that with somebody, because you have to be able to trust the person that you're going to watch it with, because
yeah,
of course, like you said, nobody's judging you if they're watching it with you, but there are some that will judge you because you want to watch it, so you have to
yeah.
protect that the sanctity of your sex life, because with the wrong experience it can be damaged.
Yeah, and do you want the real answer? It's because also I am scared to enter one of those sites and then get a virus for my computer. Absolutely. That's like
So
the main
that's
reason.
that no that's so that's the real reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other one was just like, so again, if you go to Twitter
Yeah, Twitter.
You can
It's a safe
really,
place.
yeah, no, Twitter is definitely a safe place. You can look up probably anything you can find, it like literally anything that you want. If you want to be exposed to more people that can bring you somewhat of a community, then I would suggest like finding groups on Facebook that relate to women with like minds as yourself. So that way you're not always linking up and meeting with people, but at least you have an online community of people that kind of think the same way. And
Yeah.
when you talk about sex, because there's not a lot of people that are willing to talk about it, it's very refreshing when you find people that are open-minded enough to have different discussions about things that other people don't want to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, although you don't have a large sexual experience, what has been the most difficult challenge in your sex life, aside from the energy and the spiritual? Like, how was um deciding to have sex and then carry on the two relationships that you encountered sexually? Like, what was the challenges within that for you?
I think the sex education, because there are some things that I didn't know, like how to put on a condom, or if my partner knows how to, or any birth control method. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it was like I was scared. I am still scared, and one of the reasons that I don't have many sexual partners is that I don't think I know that much, and I know I can Google it, and everything, but I'm one of those persons that need to know how to do things in order to do it.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's the main reason, and the most difficult thing that that where does his goes in me, like are we doing this right, or no, it was the craziest thing and the hardest.
So, one, you have three hoes.
Yeah.
And any one of those can be used depending on your liking and preference. And I think the more that you have it, especially the more that you find people that you're able to have sex with, when your body count is low, you're definitely a lot more picky because, I've not been out here like this. But then for some people, they end up losing themselves in sex. So it's also a good thing that you have that type of sexual control and that mental control, because you could easily start having sex and then just be out here for everybody. And it is very good. So I commend you on your journey into the world of sex, because it is a vast world. And what I've learned through the Facebook groups that I've joined is that um there is something for everybody, and anything that you may like or think you want to happen, it can happen, and there are people that identify with you and want the same things too. So don't never
Yeah.
think that you are limited, or like what you saying that you want is something that's off limits or nobody else wants or thinks like this, because definitely there are other women that want to get gang banged. There are other women that like to not have sex a lot, but when they do have it, they make it a wild experience, and that's what makes it enjoyable for them. So I
Yeah.
don't never want you to feel alone in your journey.
Thank you very much. And also, I think another limitation or difficulty is that men usually tend to be like only penetration,
Mm-hmm.
and not to enjoy, as you say, all the journey, like to touch and to hug, and it's like, whoa, like, how do I explain, or how do I tell him? And I was younger and I didn't know what did I like. So yeah, that's it.
And it's I actually was talking to another guest, and I was asking her how does she explain when something is uncomfortable or if she doesn't like it. And her response was that it's normally written all over her face. She will not fake it. She'll just lay there kind of still and like, okay, is something going to change because this is not working. But what I would say in my experience is best to kind of learn where you want to be maneuvered and kind of throw your vagina back in the ways that would help for yourself to climax, because men, I don't think they intentionally are selfish when it comes to sex. Sometimes they can't resist themselves, but if you know the angles that is right for you and you can adjust your hips and hump back a little bit, that would definitely help enhance your experience as well.
Yeah. And I think communication is part
Hmm. Hmm.
of everything, and it's something we have to learn through the years.
So, is there any advice that you would give listeners from your experience with sex?
Any advice? I would say try to enjoy it and don't be scared of of what your partner or partners may think of you. As you said, if there's going to be always somebody that matches your ideas or
Hmm.
your limitations, and they're going to be okay with that. And if they don't get it, then it's not the right person to
Hmm.
have sex with.
Agreed. Do you have any questions for me?
A lot, but I don't know. I
Okay, so hit me with some. Give me your top
Okay.
3 questions. What's your number one question?
Okay, my number one question would be um I'm scared. I'm so scared of sexual transmission. How do you call it?
STD, a
Yeah,
sexually transmitted
yeah,
disease. Hmm.
or getting pregnant. So, uh, any advice you can give me to be mentally like,
It
like
is not a bad thing to be cautious of sexually transmitted diseases, because as the years go on and people get wilder, it's definitely more prevalent that it could happen if you're not protected. The best thing that I would suggest is getting tested together with your new partner. Definitely wearing protection, but protection doesn't solve everything, and you can still get pregnant if you are protected. So it really goes back to what you're standing on right now and principles, as far as making sure it's somebody that you actually want to be bothered with, so that if something happens and it slips up and you become pregnant, you will at least feel at peace that this is somebody that you would like to deal with,
yeah,
instead of kind of, because a lot of people rely on plan Bs or abortions. And, that's not everybody's route. Everybody is not for that method of, contraception. But it's really just being mindful, but who you're laying with. And then when it comes to trying to avoid getting pregnant, the only other thing that I could say is, as soon as you get finished having sex, if you're having raw sex, is to go and sit on the toilet and let all of the semen come out of you as soon as possible. Don't lay
yeah,
there in it. Don't let it dwell. Don't let it get down there, girl. Do not let it go. It's they going. The man is going. So, like, as soon as you get finished, I mean, it's good hygiene wise to use the bathroom after sex anyways, because of the bacteria and stuff that you need
Mhm.
to wash away. But definitely to make sure you get as much of the semen out as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Your next question.
He can stay, his semen can go.
Right, right. He stays, his semen goes. I mean,
Yeah.
and if you're really freaky, you might swallow a little bit, so it might not be that much.
Yeah. Next question. Next question. No, I don't think I can put it in words right now. Like I have to think about it and this conversation, but I don't know if you have another one
No,
or
that's
another
it. This
subject.
is so what would your final thoughts be, and how can people find and tune into your show and be listeners? How can we get involved?
Well, first of all, thank you for this conversation. It was like one of my highlights of the day, definitely.
Oh,
Like
thank you.
definitely. And I'd love to know how to, like, I didn't know that I needed to talk with a sex coach,
Mhm.
but I think it is very important. Like, what else can we learn from a sex coach, or like, what is it experience? Like, what?
I think that sex coaching is something that is one of those taboo things because it's talking about a taboo subject. But I definitely think that there's a place for sex coaches, like myself, because mainly people really do have questions and they need support, if nothing else. And being a coach is really about supporting the people that come to you throughout their journey. You're not solving their problems, you're coaching them through that. And a coach is a support system, really. So that is the whole goal and the method in my madness. So
Thank you.
how
Well,
can we find you?
um,
What's your podcast?
you can, my podcast is in Spanish, and you can find me in Instagram, like at how do you say, uh
Underscore?
yeah, underscore algo casual. I can write it to you here.
Well, if you send it to me, I'll put it in the show notes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's great.
Well,
Yeah.
it was definitely nice speaking to you today, and hopefully I'll be able to speak to you again. I have to get you back on the
Yeah.
show. I want
Please.
some updates
Yeah,
with your sex
absolutely.
life as time goes on. Cheat, cheat, cheat.
Yeah. This year, that's one of my purpose. Yeah, like, to,
One of your goals.
yeah, one of my goals and one of my New Year's resolution.
Ooh, okay, so what's your New Year's resolution?
To have more sexual partners.
The
This
partners or just more sex?
That's a good question. No, partners. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wish you all the best on your sexual encounter journey. Definitely safe sex. Get tested and make sure that it's what you want to do. Place yourself in environments around people that will be good for you so that if you decide to cut up and get loose, you will feel comfortable with the decisions that you're making.
Thank you very much for all your advice and this conversation. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on the show. I'm going to have you back on in a couple of months.
Yeah.
We're going to check on your status.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, see you later.
Thank you very much. Bye.
If you've enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. New episode every Friday.